Hi everyone, Jaymes Mansfield here bringing you yet another video. Oh my god, you guys, it's another episode of Iconic Blondes. Yes. Oh my gosh, today I'm so excited because in the spirit of the holiday season, you know, the spooky season, we're going to be doing a very spooky episode of Iconic Blondes. That's right, on the docket today is Tiffany Valentine, or Tiffany doll from the Chucky series. Yes, Chucky's bride, the bride of Chucky, Tiffany Valentine, played by the incomparable Jennifer Tilly. Yes, I am so excited. So I'm gonna get my mannequin head right here with the wig all set up, and we'll get started on this new Iconic Blondes. Also, don't get taken aback by my, my hair, okay? I'm in night mode right now, okay? It's Halloween, so we go dark. But before we get started, I have to say this video is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped is one of the leading brands in men's grooming. And what better time to use a razor than the spooky holiday season, when werewolves are upon us. You never know, you have to shave in an emergency to get, your face back. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to bring you Manscaped. And you know what? I also have a code with Manscaped. Call me Jaymes Manscaped. It just happens to be Jaymes M. Yes, with that code, you'll get 20% off plus free shipping. Don't just stop at the Lawnmower 4.0. Get the perfect package, literally, with Manscaped. They have fabulous packages that you can get that is perfect for you and your specific needs. Need bathroom products? They have those too. I've got you covered up here and, well, down there. Get Manscaped today. Now, I'll be right back. Welcome back. All right, I had the wig all pinned onto the head. Now it's time to get started on styling this. Now, first things first, in order to do Tiffany Valentine's hair, we're gonna have to put a small curl pattern into it because as you can see, this is bone straight hair. Now I could easily just cut layers into this and make a very sloppy, slapdash version of it, but we're not gonna do that today, okay? We're actually gonna try our best to get as close to it as I can without taking shortcuts. So, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do some rollers. Now we're not gonna use the pink rollers. We're gonna use these ones. These lavender, I think it's like an 1.5 inch roller, but they're by Diane. I haven't used these in a while because I used to really like them, but they kind of disintegrate over time and you have to keep rebuying them. So I just kind of said, screw it. But these are what I use for it. It's a wire mesh roller. And first things first, we're gonna separate the hair. Where the hell did my brush go? Brush, where'd you go? I swear I just had it on the table. Did one of you take it?
I didn't touch nothing, you ugly bitch.
1 second. Ugh, stupid brush. Ugh, son of a... Every time I want to film, something goes missing. Oh, okay, I moved it. That was me. Okay, I found the brush. That was my bad. I actually picked it up and moved it. That was my fault. Okay, that one's on me. Or maybe I could blame gremlins. Those are the ones that sabotage you, right? Gremlins. It was gremlins. Or fairies. Fairies. We have fairies in this house. They're just moving things around. Or elves. Menacing little elves. I didn't pick this up and move it. Something else did. Something supernatural. So, we are going to put a curl pattern in you, and you're going to be gorgeous. So, let's do this. Now, looking at it, it's sort of like a very 90s rooted kind of hairdo moment. Kind of messy, but there is a subtle curl and wave to the hair. So, we're going to put a curl in you and then cut layers into her. Very messy layers, because bear in mind, when she became the Tiffany doll, she was just kind of slapping things together as you watch the movie. Now, Bride of Chucky. This came out, I think, when I was like 10 years old. I remember it being a little later in my childhood, but I do remember the poster for it. And I remember I'd see it in movie theaters and I would run past it. I was so afraid of it. I was deathly afraid of Chucky as a little kid. And looking back at it now, I don't know why. Because the movies are not scary. If anything, the movies are kind of silly. But when you're a little kid like that, you don't really think that. You're just like, oh my God, my toy's gonna come to life and try and, do harm to me. I was also a very scary child. So I got spooked really easily. But yeah, Chucky just did it for me. I remember having nightmares whenever my sisters would put that on when they were babysitting me. And they would always do that just to mess with us, because they knew we couldn't handle it. Siblings can be awful. But yes, I do remember that. But I remember I liked Tiffany, even though she was evil, and she did scare me. I remember liking her still, if that makes any sense. Because I like that, like, she had a back and forth with Chucky where, like, she didn't take crap off of him. Like, she put him in his place quite a few times, which I liked. Because, like, from watching the other Child's Play movies, you never really quite saw that. And I was really too young to understand, you know, like, the horror and humor element of it. It was all just horror for me when I was that young. But Bride of Chucky was different because, like, I felt like they really leaned into, like, you know, different aspects of the franchise that were kind of in the subtext of it and in the undercurrent of it. Like, it got really queer with Bride of Chucky. Like, Alexis Arquette was in it. Like, there's so many little references made. There were gay characters. I didn't, like, really realize it later on that, like, Don Mancini, who wrote it, is gay, and I didn't even know that. So it made kind of a whole lot of sense, like this queer subtext that's there that I never picked up on until I was much older. And I love them now. Like, the Child's Play movies, I adore them. I think they're fun. They're silly, and you take it at that. Like, they're not scary. Although Child's Play 2 did hit pretty hard, not gonna lie. That one scene in the car with the guy with the glasses messed me up as a kid. Like, oh, nightmares, nightmares. Or when they find the mom by the sewing machine, also nightmares, nightmares. And it didn't come to, like, my realization till later on that, like, that's Jennifer Tilly. The Jennifer Tilly from Liar Liar. Like, that actress with the voice. Or I guess, like, the younger generation would probably know her as Joe's wife in Family Guy, the one that's always pregnant. And Jennifer Tilly is an amazing actress. I'm gonna get this all rolled up quick and steamed out, and we'll be right back and fangirl over Jennifer Tilly, okay? Welcome back. All right, I have the hair all curled. Yes, she is gorgeous. Now, I'm just gonna run a brush through it because in order to do Tiffany, we have to cut like layers into it. Oh, this brush is starting to go. It might be time for a new one. I love the feeling of running a brush through freshly curled wig hair. There's nothing like it. It is such a high. Oh, okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Like I said, this is just giving us that nice little loose wave effect. We don't want like really big, tight curls. Just like a nice little loose curl like that. Gorgeous. Because her hair just has a subtle wave to it. It's very, very 90s. Like you think of like Romy Michelle's high school reunion is what I think of when I think of hair like that. Very much like of an actress of a certain era. Very Mira Sorvino in the way it looks. Oh, Mira Sorvino. What a goddess. Okay, so here we are. Let us start by cutting some layers because we're going to cut it all short. And I'm going to periodically be cutting more of it as I keep going. But I'm going to start with the top first. And just kind of like haphazardly cut layers into it. Because it's all going to get teased away. And once you start teasing it, it's going to get shorter. So you don't want to go too short. Ugh, but where was I? Yes, Jennifer Tilly. My gosh. Thank you for reminding me, by the way, it was Bullets Over Broadway she was nominated for an Oscar for. Yes. I don't recall ever seeing it. I think that's the movie Diane Wiest won an Oscar for too, if I'm not mistaken. Love her as well. I adore Jennifer Tilly. I think the movie I remember seeing her the most in was the movie Bound with Gina Gershon. My mother watched that movie a lot. She loves herself some like neo-noir, like 90s crime movies, and that was right up her alley. She loved her some Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly in that. I watched it at a very young age when I probably shouldn't have been. But that's kind of how like me and my mom hung out. We would just sit there and watch movies all day when she had off days. And she just sat on the couch and watched all these different movies on HBO. And Bound was one of those ones that like back in the day, you weren't supposed to do this. It was very rude to do this. When you record the movie off HBO on a VHS tape. Who else did that? We had a whole closet full of bootleg VHS tapes with like 3 or 4 movies on each. So like, okay, on this one, there's Bound, Batman Forever, and Addams Family Values. So you had to fast forward through the whole tape in order to get to the one movie you wanted to watch. The kids of today don't understand this struggle. And like, I don't recommend doing that because it's a very rude thing to do. It was like the VHS equivalent of recording a song off the radio. You weren't supposed to do that. Oh my God. Remember the early days of cell phones when people would record a song off the radio as like their their answering machine? So like you'd call them and you hear this really grainy, awful re-recording of some song on the radio. Oh my God. I'm dating myself, but I remember people doing that. Now, The Bride of Chucky was actually like a big departure as far as Child's Play goes in tone. Like, it's the first time they changed the name and like basically were going off the Chucky name for the franchise. Like, Child's Play was done. And with that, they completely switched up the series tone. It went to more of like a horror comedy route. And I feel like it's made a winning combination that's kept Chucky alive for so long. And the introduction of Tiffany Doll was also like a really good addition to the franchise. Because you gotta understand, like, she sells. They haven't been some of the most hottest selling like items from Spencer's Gifts and Hot Topic they've been that way for a reason. Okay, like the marketability in Tiffany Doll is incredible. Okay, now I'm gonna tease the rest of this and I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. I had the hair all teased out. Now it's time to start styling it. And we also gotta add roots to it because this hair does not have roots and Tiffany Doll has got some serious roots going on. So what we are going to do is take our brush and just start smoothing it out to create sort of a style. It's sort of like a messy, almost like shorter Pamela Anderson, like a Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion kind of do, you know, that kind of 90s hair, where it's like messy but still structured. It's supposed to give off like a vixen effect. Now, as I go through, I'm just gonna periodically cut like a small chunk here. Everything is bluntly cut because it's supposed to look like, you know, she did it herself. And also, like, looking at it in some pictures, it's got sort of like a district attorney kind of effect to it, where it's like that undercut, you know, it has like that Nancy Baldwin or like Christine Baranski kind of feel to it in the 90s, where they all had like that Joan Rivers talk show hair, like the long, you know, undercut bob. Talk show host hair. Every talk show host had that hair. From like Ricky Lake had it at one point, Jenny Jones. That I'm a serious woman hair, doing serious journalism. All right, I'm pulling that little fringe that I cut short and just let it curl under like that. Because some pictures I've seen, she has like a little fringe that just hangs under like that. And very, very dark roots. It's really gonna come together once you put the roots in. And if I feel the need, I might run a steamer over it just to get it a little straighter. But it's, for the most part, trimming pretty short. And you just gotta periodically cut it at an angle just to get it to angle up right. Start adding some hairspray just to make it look more choppy. Not trying to pull out too much teasing because there is a lot of lift in the hair too, surprisingly, for the doll. Sis was teasing her hair. She knew what she wanted to look like. And when you look at her from the beginning of the movie, like the doll she gets put into, the doll was pretty busted. So I'd be upset too if I got cursed into that. And after she gives the doll a makeover, like, she looks cute. But what's crazy to me is like the Child's Play movies, like when you look at them, like they made a lot of money. Like they were really popular, even though they're like critically panned. Like Roger Ebert, I believe, put Child's Play 2 as like the worst movie of the year, or one of them, but it made so much money. Like they were really popular films. Like people really enjoyed it. It just goes to show, like, critics don't know everything. And sometimes the audience enjoys it, girl, that's all that matters. Start putting in our roots. I'm using Morphe, and I'm just using this brown color here. This is the Desert Bouquet. This dark color right here, the dark brown. I use this palette a lot. I'm just gonna start adding the roots in. And this is a fun way to do it because when you get like wigs that already have roots in them, 9 times out of 10, the roots are probably either way too dark or like too gray. You can really control the color you want when you do it yourself. And you just gotta take a makeup wipe and a little alcohol to the lace to clean it, to get the excess makeup off. And you can, honestly, with her, bring it as high up as you want because she had some severe roots. Because the doll's hair was like jet black in the movie, which she dyed it. And I'm just gonna go in sections and just do the roots all over. Like even to go so far as to like go in parts of the hair here and add darkness. Yeah, she's starting to come together. Like you start to see the darkness coming through in the roots. Now, this is gonna take me quite a bit. So I'm gonna add more to the roots and I'll come back and we'll have the final result. I just gotta run a brush through her a little bit more. So I'll be right back. Welcome back. This is the final result. Now what I'm about to show you is what I did off camera. I loosened up the curls a little bit by de-stressing with steam and a brush to keep a little bit of the curl at the ends, but not so much so it's like a big wave because it was sort of like conflicting with my hairstyle and going a bit more like a 50s Maryland direction as opposed to like a 90s remembers the 50s kind of look, which is the vibe Jennifer Tilly had in Bride of Chucky, especially in the beginning. I look a lot like her in the beginning before she goes in the doll. And like a little bit of the elements of her like style before she became the doll meld into her final look as the doll, which I really like. Like it's really punk and sloppy and just like really fun vixen hair. Yeah, one thing I learned while making this video is like pictures of her hair are so inconsistent. Like they sometimes have lots of curls, sometimes like bone straight. I think it has to do with the fact they have multiple puppets. So like they weren't really paying too much attention to the continuity of her hair, because sometimes it's really nice and other times it's like, guys. I'm not used to seeing myself in a dark lip with lots of roots like this. Like it's really an interesting look. I think it's kind of sexy. I don't know. I don't mind it. Oh, Chucky. Yeah, my cold is gone, so the Jennifer Tilly impersonation is like... Anyways, I had so much fun doing this. Is a very good departure as far as iconic blondes go. Like, we went a little darker today. And I had fun doing it. And I'm hoping you guys enjoyed it as well. Now, I have to take a moment, a Venn moment where I thank everyone who's tipped me on VENMO, as well as YouTube super thanks. I would like to thank Sergio, Steven, Jill, and Sergio again, and Sheree. All right, and for YouTube super thanks, I would like to thank Vanessa, Chris, and Lily Sweet. Thank you all so much for the YouTube super thanks and the tips on Venmo. Now, this was so much fun to do. I have to say, I enjoy walking down memory lane, especially when it comes to like old horror movies and stuff. Like, it's really my jam. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. Oh my gosh, I feel so glamorous. Oh my God, my hair's a little more glamorous than the dolls, but I'm not gonna apologize for being glamorous, okay? Sorry. Alrighty, now don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye. Woo, spooky season. Also, I don't have a leather jacket because I live in Las Vegas now. It makes absolutely no sense to have one. So I gave you a white dress and black lips. So you're going to like this. Now hit the outro. Click here and watch me use the Kimchi Chic Beauty Holy Fairy Tale palette. Or see me make a mini lady bunny wig using Spirit Halloween wigs. Come on, click it, you know you want to. If you don't click it, I'll send Chucky after you. So click it.